Welcome to Blonde Cards and Crafts. Let's make something together. Crafters, today we're making a Z-fold flip card, and to do that you'll need a piece of card, and this piece I have here measures 10 by 7. Now normally we'd score this at 2.5 and 5, but I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm going to mark it here at 2.5 at the top and the bottom. And then what we're going to do is we're going to draw a pencil line between them. Okay, so I'm going to get my ruler and I'm going to draw a little pencil line between those two marks. And this is because we want to do partial die cutting. And I did a partial die cut card in my last video, and I'll leave a link to that down below. And I thought I'd really like to do another card using that technique. So I have my oval nested dies, and these are scalloped and straight nested dies. They're by Hunkydory. And I have taken this one here, and I have a mark on the back of this at the top and bottom, so I know where the center of this die is. I want to line those two marks up with the line I've drawn with my pencil. I've also got this sheet of decoupage, and this is the Santoro Gorgeous Girls. Now I'm going to use these images here for this one. I'll use the full image here on the left, and I'll use the frame and the little girl from the image on the right, and we'll also build up the decoupage on the front as well. So once I have my die in place and it's nice and straight, I'm going to take a little bit of washi tape and I'm going to adhere the die down to my cardstock. Now I'm making sure the washi tape is kind of stuck more to the center of our oval, because when I take that off, in case it peels away on the front, I want to make sure it doesn't damage it. Now I have my card base in my die cutting machine, and I have put the plate just where our pencil line is, because our machine will only cut what is underneath that top plate. So whatever is outside of the plate won't get cut. So this is going to die cut out half of our oval shape. So I'm looking at the back to make sure it cut well before I go and move the die and remove the washi tape. And I could see that it cut the whole way through up to our pencil line. I'm delighted with that, and it's as simple as that. That in itself is partial die cutting. Now where our pencil line is, I'm going to rub that line out. We don't want to have pencil line underneath where we score. And then what we'll do is we'll take our score tool and we will score just from the top down to our die cut oval and from the bottom up. So you can see there I'm at 2.5, I'm scoring down, and then I'm coming up from the bottom, and that's why I have those lines on my scoreboard to help me with that. And I'm also remembering to score at the 5-inch mark. That way we can fold our card in half, and then we'll be able to fold back our Z-fold part. And I'm making sure to burnish those score lines. I want to get a nice good crease on those score lines. And there you go. There is our Z-fold flip card. It's as simple as that, using partial die cutting. All we need to do is embellish it now. And you can do this on any size card that you want to make. So I'm taking this full piece. This would be the first part, or A1, or whatever way it's marked on your decoupage sheet, and it's the biggest piece. I'm going to sit that on the front, and I'm gluing it down using my Collal Glue, and then we'll add our decoupage on top of the little girl. Now we also get a decoupage frame, and you can see that just off there to the right. I'm going to use that to embellish the inside. I think that would look super cool, and I'm going to put a sentiment there as well. Now I'm going to die cut out an oval using the die we used for our partial die cutting. And this piece, as you can see here, I'm going to put my sentiment on that, and then we'll glue our frame down on top. And it just strengthens it. It's the only reason that I put it there. It'll give a nice clean look to where our sentiment is going to go. Okay, so I have my stamping platform out. The stamp I'm using is just a silicone stamp. I think I got it free in a magazine. And I want to make sure that when I stamp this that it stamps properly. Now I know with this stamp can be a little hit or miss, so that's why I'm using my stamping platform. Also with silicone stamps, if you press down too hard, you'll get a very inky impression. So with the Misty, I can have better control. Now I'm just kissing the stamp with my ink pad, and I'm just very lightly rubbing on the sentiment. And you can see there's ink left on the stamp when I lift up the door, because that's where it hasn't stamped down. And it looks like I'm pressing quite hard, but I'm not. I'm being very gentle because I want to have a nice clean image stamped out. So I'm going to go in again, give it a second stamping, and you can see I'm tapping down using my ink block there. And again, I'm very gently rubbing over the stamp. Again, you can see there's some residue of ink left on the stamp. And once I know that that's all being stamped down, then I can move on. So now again, I'm going to use my Collal glue around the frame. And you know with the Collal glue, it dries nice and solid and hard. It also leaves no residue or tackiness. And if you get any of the glue kind of oozing out, if you just wipe that off, rub it away, it just rubs away and leaves no mark behind. Now it is a solvent glue. There's very little smell. Well, I can't really detect much of a smell, but I find this brilliant. It doesn't warp the card when you use it. So that's basically this panel done. I just need to glue that down. And again, I'm going to use my Collal glue. And I do use the other white glues like the Art Glitter glue or the Cosmic Shimmer glue, but I use that for smaller things to glue down like sentiments, etc. So I'm going to line this piece up nicely with our flip part on our card base and press down. And I'm really pleased with this. I love that the frame is inside our flip part of the front. I'm just delighted with that. And I love the clean look of this card. You could put mats and layers and everything on it, but I decided to go for a clean look. Now I'm popping out the little girl piece here, and there is a bit of colour around her, so I will fussy cut her around the edges to make sure I have a nice clean image. But she's part of the decoupage. I'm just using her to embellish the inside part of our card. Now you will see her when the card is closed because most of her is underneath where our oval closes over, but I'm quite happy with that. I like it. You can see it there. She's peeking out from behind the oval. Okay, so that's basically our card done. All we need to do now is build up our decoupage. And if you haven't used decoupage before, what it is layering an image. So you'll get the full image, which will be image number 1, and then all the other little bits will be numbered as well. I'm using some foam tabs underneath this. This is what you generally use with decoupage. It gives you multiple layers, and I'm using really slim little foam pads. If you use thick foam pads, then your decoupage builds up quite high, and if postage is a thing where you have to pay more for a fatter, fuller envelope, then you don't want to be using foam pads that are too thick. So I'm using these slim little ones, and I got these when I got my Love from Lizzie kit, which is where this Santoro decoupage sheet comes from. And I'll link to the video previously that I've done. I've done 10 cards 1 kit video showing you a partial die cut in a different way. So I hope you'll pop over for a look to see that if you haven't watched that video already. So we're building up the layers on our little girl. We've put her body down. Now we're putting some foam tapes onto her head part, which will sit above that. And then we'll add the little feet as well that can be put under foam. Now there is an arm piece as well that you can use, but I don't use that for the front of this. So we have the last little piece now, and that's her fringe. I'm going to cut down some little foam pads to go on there and then stick that down. And you might notice when you're taking out your little pieces, there's little tabs where they've been stuck on the page, and you just cut those little bits off. So I've die cut out a happy birthday in gold, and I'm picking up the gold that's on our front image and our frame image inside. And I'm stamping down a stamp from my stash, It's Your Day, and I'll link what I can find available down below in the description. So I've got my It's Your Day stamped down, and from that then I'm going to work up. So I'm going to stick down my birthday sentiment next, and I'm going to center that over the It's Your Day. I've just checked to make sure it's not peeking out from behind the frame, and I'll put a little block on that just to add a bit of weight while the glue sets. I've got the happy now, and I'm going to stick that down just above the birthday, and again I'm going to center that over where my birthday die cut is. Another handy tip is if you stamp a sentiment and you find that there's little white pieces in it, if you take a memento pen or a black fine liner pen, you can fill in any little gaps that your stamp has missed. For final embellishments of our lovely card, I'm going to add some Spectrum Noir sparkle pen on our little girls, and I'm also going to use some lovely little jewel gems that I have in my stash just to embellish the front of our card and pick up the sparkle there too. So there is our Z-fold flip card, and it's using a partial die cutting technique. I hope you have enjoyed my video. If you liked it, you might give it a thumbs up. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing. And if not, you might consider clicking on the bell icon down below so you'll be notified next time I post a new video. That's it, my friends. Until next time, take care and bye for now.